Welcome. Today I'm talking about the idea of leveling up in the context of popular role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons. This concept of leveling up was introduced by a very popular game in the 70s, Dungeons and Dragons. And for some reason, this idea of leveling up to the next level has become kind of part of our culture. In 1974, Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson created Dungeons and Dragons. Now, there had been role-playing games before this, but this was the first major role-playing game that got as much attention. And as a consequence, people were introduced into the idea of fantasy being converted into a game, and the idea of characters with attributes and skill sets that you could upgrade with more experience as they took on greater and greater challenges. So from that time, the idea became very popular of leveling up characters. And ever since that, or the mid-70s, all of our video games and a variety of other things followed the same genre, the idea of getting a leveled up character. And as you did so, your hit points, your mana, whatever characteristics you had would increase along with your level. This has now become part of mainstream culture, and it's everywhere. So the reason I bring it up, because I think it's a great example of the level up mentality that we can see in our own world. We actually see it everywhere we go. Like, for example, I have a running app, and I get badges for doing certain types of activities. In my corporate life, you can get certifications or levels of partnerships in your business. All of these things talk about skill enhancements, development, and improvement in order to get to the next level. Obviously, it's very important to work on improving your skills, gaining more experience to improve personally. In order to get to the next level, we talk about it a lot. Oh, I need to get to the next level. But in order to get to the next level, I think we need to think of it in terms of the context of an RPG game. There's one thing that Dungeons and Dragons really hit on well, is that the only real way that you can get to the next level is by gaining more experience. And the experience requirements for each progressive level gets more and more and more. So consequently, if you keep taking on the same challenges you were as a level 1 character, you're just not going to up level that quickly, because you need you need more experience. So you have to take on harder and more difficult adventures in order to gain experience, the number of experience points you need to get to the next level. This, I think, has life implications. There's no way that we're going to improve if we continue to deal with the same circumstances we have today. The only way we can improve is by taking on greater risks, greater challenges, meeting new people, associating with different people than we are today, and taking on risks and challenges that we may not be taking on now. So new experience, new commitments, and new people are a great way to gain more experience and therefore level up our lives. I remember early in my career, I had a conversation with an employee that I had hired, and that employee, she was looking for a promotion. She was asking me for her yearly review, and I'm like, okay, here's your yearly review. You're doing great. Carry on. But she was actually looking for more than that. She was looking for a level up. She was looking for promotion. She was looking for a pay raise with that. And I remember having this discussion with her about the idea, well, I'm fine with giving you more money. I'm fine with giving you a different title, but I also would expect you to increase your responsibilities, take on more work, give more value back to the business, because value and compensation are tied together. This was a revelation to both me and her. As we talked about how to progress in the business. And I think it's a good example. I mean, a lot of us are seeking for promotion or seeking for gain in some way, or leveling up in our business careers. But we should really be thinking about it. What am I going to do to take on more responsibility gain more practical experience. We'll sit back and we'll work at a particular employer and we'll get mad that we're not getting promoted. The problem is you're probably getting compensated perfectly well for what you are doing today. You may not think so, but that's the value the company sees for it, and they're willing to pay for that value. So if you want to get paid more, you just simply have to add more value to the business. Sometimes you just can't do that at the same company. You have to move on and take a greater risk and take on a different adventure, take on a new challenge. It works in D&D, and so it works in our lives. We have to overcome and face challenges. The more challenges we face, the more failure we put ourselves up against, the more resilient and adaptable we become, and the more that we enter into a growth mindset. A D&D character is always seeking for a new adventure. That's the whole spirit of the role-playing adventure game. Same thing in our lives. We have to be constantly seeking new opportunity, or otherwise we just simply will not grow. This is the growth mindset. And I think it's entirely applicable to our own personal lives as well as our professional lives. Finally, in a D&D game, you have a party that goes with you, friends that you go on an adventure with, support, collaboration, and a community that you work together. And a lot of the D&D game excitement was working as a team. And I think there's a lot of parallels to that in real life. We need mentors. We need people that we can look to. We need assistants. More importantly, we need people that have a skill set that's different than our own that can complement each other. This is how players would be more effective in a role-playing game, and I think it's how we can be more effective in our lives. So I think there's a lot of concepts in this idea of leveling up from an RPG game that we can apply to our lives. We all seem to want to talk about going to the next level. I think we need to really think about what the implications of going to the next level is. So think about what your current experiences is and how you can upgrade those experiences and making them more challenging so that you can indeed level up.